New findings show Samsung is reportedly eating into Apple's US market share amid the growing appetite for Samsung's foldable phones. According to data by market analyst Canalys, shipments from Samsung soared in the American market, raising its share in the second quarter to 31% from 23% on year.
This sounds unbelievable, but it is happening right now, inside the borders of the United States, the fortress, the home turf, the spiritual heart of Apple. In just one quarter, iPhone sales dropped by 11%. In that same breath of time, Samsung grew by 38%. For the first time in modern history, the gap between the Titan of Cupertino and its Korean rival has narrowed to a distance that is making Wall Street sweat. This isn't supposed to happen. The iPhone is the default. It is the cultural standard. It is the blue bubble that divides society. But behind the shiny glass of Apple Park, a terrifying question is starting to form. What if the iPhone didn't do anything wrong? What if the phone is still perfect? What if the problem isn't failure? What if the problem is boredom? Today, we are looking at the numbers Apple doesn't want you to see. We are dissecting a silent migration happening in the pockets of Americans. Because in the world of technology, empires don't fall because of betrayal. They fall because the users simply stop caring.
Can I tell you guys what annoys me about iOS? Now, I'm not gonna lie, with a bit of work, I actually was able to get a pretty customized home screen, but what's up with the app library? Like, can somebody please tell me why the apps are organized in these automatic folders that you cannot edit or get rid of? Because of course, on Android, you can just swipe up to your app library and there's all of your apps in alphabetical order. And then of course, if you want to, you can then search for an app that you're looking for. And then Samsung even allows you to just fully arrange the apps exactly how you want, along with even putting them in custom folders in the app library. And yes, I know with the iPhone that you can search and it'll put them in alphabetical order then, but I'm like, why is the default configuration just putting them in forced folders that I can't edit at all?
To understand this shift, we have to rewind. Go back to 2014. The last time the smartphone market felt this tense. It was a quiet showdown, fought not with advertising, but with inches. On one side, you had Samsung. They were releasing massive airy screens, phablets, betting that Americans wanted to consume content like they were sitting in a living room. On the other side, you had Apple, stubborn, precise, sticking to the small one-handed screen, convinced that they knew what you wanted better than you did. Apple's strategy was simple. Wait. Let the others make the mistakes. And it worked. When they finally released the iPhone 6, bigger, wider, finally breaking their own rules, they didn't just catch up. They obliterated the competition. The iPhone 6 became one of the best-selling devices in human history. The lesson was etched in stone. Apple doesn't need to be first. It just needs to be right.
Wow moments from the original iPhone announcement.
Are you getting it? And to unlock the phone, I just take my finger and slide it across. Right? You want to see that again? How do I scroll through my list of artists? How do I do this? I just take my finger and I scroll. That's it. So I can just move them further apart and stretch the image. Not cool?
But 10 years later, that same arrogance might be their undoing. Samsung is leading the form factor war again. But this time, it isn't just about size, it's about shape. Foldable, unfoldable, transformable. Meanwhile, the iPhone remains a perfect rectangular slab of glass, refined, polished, and identical to the one you bought 3 years ago. The question is no longer, will Apple win? The question is, can you use the same tactic twice when the world is moving faster than ever before? At first glance, the data for 2024 and 2025 looks stable. There is no spectacular collapse. Apple hasn't vanished. But if you watch the market like a hawk, you see the minute hand moving. In a saturated market like the US, growth is a zero-sum game. For you to win, someone else has to lose. Samsung's market share in the US has quietly climbed from 23% to 31%. For every 10 new phones sold, Samsung is snatching one more than before. Apple's share has slipped from 56% to 49%. It sounds small, but think of it like a marathon. The leader is still in front, but they are breathing heavy, and the runner behind them is sprinting.
The
The iPhone is on a major downfall and is going down the same route as BlackBerry and Nokia. Well, look at this data. Since 2021, iPhone sales have not grown. That is no growth for 4 years. In fact, look at the sales of the MacBook. It fell by 25% in 2023 and since then has not recovered. For the past 4 years, the iPad sales are continuously declining. I mean, the only way Apple's revenue is growing is because of services where they're actually selling you server space to upload your pictures. Even sales of AirPods, Vision Pro, all of that is declining. Look at the data of Apple sales in China. It fell by 11% in 1 year. In fact, this downfall is coming because Apple has practically not innovated in technology for the past 4 years. Every year they come up with the same design, the same features. They promised an AI feature which they still haven't launched in India. In fact, just today, I watched this ad saying Apple TV now available on Android. Why this change of heart? Well, it's not a change of heart, it's actually desperation. Because Warren Buffett used to hold 50% of his portfolio in Apple stock. And just over a period of 9 months, he sold more than $600 million worth of Apple shares, reducing its share in his portfolio to just about close to 25%. Well, Apple is desperate and on a major downfall. Share it with someone who may need it.
What terrifies analysts isn't how many iPhones are selling, but who is not buying them. These aren't new users. These are loyalists. Americans who have lived in the Apple ecosystem for a decade are switching. It is not a spur-of-the-moment decision. It is a calculated exit. Apple is a massive container ship. Stable, reliable, but slow to turn. Samsung is a speedboat. Agile, dangerous, accelerating. In the tech world, investors aren't afraid of being slow. They are afraid of being slow at the wrong time. And right now, the radar is flashing red. Walk into a phone store in 2025, and you are standing in front of two completely different philosophies. On the Apple side, you have a set menu, 3 or 4 options: clean, expensive, safe. You eat what the chef gives you. On the Samsung side, it is an endless buffet. From the budget-friendly Galaxy A series for the pragmatist, to the S series flagship, to the ultra-premium Z Fold for the futurist. Prices range from $600 to nearly $2,000. Samsung isn't just selling phones, they are selling the feeling of choice.
This phone might single-handedly get me to stop making fun of Android, which is tough. That's my favorite pastime. This is what I've liked so far. Their version of Face ID isn't as good, but the fingerprint sensor is really nice. The operating system is insanely fluid. Everyone that thinks like, oh, Androids are laggy just hasn't used a modern Android. Even though the ultra-wide and the telephoto and the front camera aren't great, that 200 megapixel main sensor is money. The pictures and videos you can take on this phone are ridiculous, especially in their pro video mode. And finally, when it comes to screens, bigger is just better. And the fact that it could fold up into a normal size phone and then fold out into an ultra thin tablet means that you're not sacrificing any convenience. It's big when you need it to be and then a normal phone when you want it to be.
In an economy where the cost of living is crushing the middle class, this matters. Apple's rigidity, selling a series of glass rectangles starting at $800, is becoming a disadvantage. Surveys of middle-aged Americans reveal a brutal truth. They don't switch phones because of trends. They switch because of value. They switch because they want to feel like they bought something that fits them, not something they were forced to buy. But the choice is just the surface. The real killer is the boredom. Put an iPhone from 2017 next to an iPhone from 2025. A casual user can barely tell the difference. It's the same design language, the same grid of apps, the same notch, or island, or pill. It's like staying at the same 5-star hotel for 10 years straight. The sheets are soft, the service is impeccable, but the thrill of the vacation is gone. You aren't excited to check in anymore. You just do it because you have a reservation. Apple relies on enthusiasm, but familiarity kills enthusiasm. When you invite someone to the same party, at the same venue, with the same music, year after year, eventually they stop RSVPing. This is the boredom trap.
Introducing the iPhone 17! So what's new about it? Oh, new. Better ventilation and improved battery by 3%! Was there like anything else? Oh yeah, we have this new orange color.
Samsung throws spaghetti at the wall, experimenting with hinges, screens, and shapes. Apple chooses the path of absolute safety. Safety for the supply chain. Safety for the shareholders. But safety makes you predictable. Today's users can already predict the iPhone 17 and the 18. They know what it will look like, and when the surprise vanishes, the purchase decision moves from the heart to the brain. And logically, people are asking, why should I spend $1,000 to buy the same phone I already have? Loyalty is like a block of ice. Hard, clear, seemingly unbreakable. But Samsung isn't trying to smash the ice with a hammer. They are just raising the temperature. And slowly, the cracks are appearing. If you want to see where the heat is coming from, look at the device everyone laughed at. In 2019, The foldable phone was a joke. Screens broke, hinges failed. It was a gimmick, a magic trick gone wrong. But Samsung didn't fold. They went back to the lab. They tightened every bolt. They treated it like an aircraft investigation. By 2025, the narrative flipped. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 isn't a toy, it's a weapon. Pre-orders jumped 25%. But the real turning point came from a single, silent viral moment. A live stream. A user folding a Samsung device 200,000 times in a row. No music, no edits, just mechanical torture. 15 million people watched it. That video destroyed the stigma.
This Korean YouTuber is folding the Galaxy Z Fold 7 by hand 200,000 times. At 46,000 folds, it restarted. At 75,000, it cracked and leaked. Samsung says it can handle 500,000 folds in ideal conditions. He's now at 150,000, testing how strong it really is in real life. It looks painful, but at least we don't have to do it.
Trust wasn't built on a billboard. It was built on durability. Now, users aren't buying foldables to look cool. They are buying them to escape the glass slab. They are moving from a studio apartment to a room with a balcony. It opens for reading, it closes for carrying. It is a fundamental shift in how we occupy digital space, and it leads to the biggest threat of all, AI. For 15 years, the goal was miniaturization, make it smaller, make it thinner, but AI has reversed the physics. AI needs space. Samsung sees AI as a layer that lives alongside you. On a foldable screen, you circle something on the left, and the AI explains it on the right. The flow is unbroken. It's like working at a large desk with a brilliant assistant sitting next to you. On the iPhone, AI is crammed into a notification bubble. Every time you ask Siri a question, the context disappears. You have to close the book to ask the librarian a question. Tech experts call this friction. And as AI becomes the dominant reason we use phones, that friction becomes unbearable. Apple is trapped by its own perfection. Their ecosystem is optimized for a single screen, a single flow. Are they waiting for AI to get smaller? Or are they waiting for the iPhone to finally change shape? In the whispered conversations of Silicon Valley, there is a defense for Apple. They are playing poker. Apple is the seasoned shark. They don't go all in on the first hand. They watch the opponent. They let Samsung take the risks, suffer the public failures, and pay the tuition. Rumors are swirling of a super thin iPhone. A foldable iPhone in 2026 priced at $2,000. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Innovation cycles are accelerating. In 2014, you could wait 3 years to catch up. In the age of AI, 3 years is an eternity. Apple isn't losing the masses yet, but they are losing the trendsetters. The people who wait in line, the people who tell their friends what to buy.